morning, America. It's the one and only Skool, the hip-hop trucker. Yeah, I know that sound corny. Yeah, I'm on the job right now. Got a long ride this morning. So I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys. Tell you a little bit about my story, how I got into trucking, and how eventually trucking actually led me to my dream. You know, I never really wanted to drive trucks. For one, I was always afraid of making a mistake and hurting somebody out here on this road. And I didn't really want the responsibility that goes into really having a truck or operating a truck. So in my early 20s, I worked for a trucking company, and I was just like the person that logged the trucks in and let them into the yard and log them as they're going out of the yard. But some of the old guys, some of the drivers used to, always cut into me and be like, listen, man, once you get your license, man, you can make money driving these trucks. I would always be like, no, because really I knew that I wasn't really a strong driver. I'm not a good driver at all. In the car. And so I thought that, I really would be terrible in the truck. So for years I kind of shunned that, but in 2000 I ended up going to federal prison. I get locked up on a drug charge, conspiracy charge, and I do about 12 years straight, almost 12 years straight. So, while in prison, I realized that the life that I was living wasn't really worth me being in prison. And the time that I had, and the time that I seen other guys doing in there for the same crime, I realized that it just wasn't really, worth it. It didn't add up. So, I went and soaked up all the information that I could soak up while I was in prison. Got all the certifications I could get, licenses that I could get. So when I got to the halfway house, I was eager to turn my life around and get started. Took up college classes. Just tried to do everything I could that I could use to prevent me from going back to prison and going back to my old way of trying to earn money. So I end up working for an oil refinery, doing hazardous material removal, stuff like that. And what I didn't really understand what it would actually be like in the real world. I had did 12 years in prison, and when I get out, we're in the middle of one of the worst recessions, if not a depression. I mean, the cost of living, the cost of gas was so different. Like, when I went in, I think gas was 98 cents a gallon. I get out now, it's close to $4 a gallon. I wasn't really prepared to manage myself and manage my expenses in a situation like that. And so I ended up, after 18 months of being out, I ended up violating, going back to prison. But sometimes, none of us want to go to prison, but sometimes it may be what you need, because when I went back, that's when I really began to have like serious talks with different individuals about trucking. You know, a guy comes in, he just coming in off the streets, he's in prison, he's telling me about car hauling. So I'm looking like, you know, car hauling, yeah, you know, he's telling me, but in my mind, I'm visualizing somebody with a little one-car hitch on the back of his truck, you know, and he's going around seeing if anyone needs a car moved somewhere. Maybe they're going down to Miami for a vacation and they want their car down there. They don't want to drive it and put the miles on it. So I'll be the one to I'm thinking on that level of it. And I don't really know why I never paid attention to car haulers. You know, it's kind of weird though. Like, but I never really paid attention to it. But he started explaining to me. He said, no, you have companies out there, even manufacturers that need cars moved. You know, if Ford made cars, see, they need those cars moved and get them to the dealerships. And so I remember seeing those car haulers with like 9 or 10 cars on the back, right? But I never really paid it attention. I never focused on it. But then when I thought about it, it was like, eureka, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this might be it. You know, I talked to another guy who was a trucker at the time, and he was, you know, telling me his experience of being a trucker. And it's like I'm beginning to talk to different individuals about trucking. So I said, you know what? When I get out, I'm gonna try to get into trucking. So I gets out. I go to the halfway house. While I'm in the halfway house, you know, you try to connect with your family members and stuff. So I talked to one of my cousins, and it just so happened, she's like, yeah, I just started a trucking company. We doing car hauling. I'm like, what? I said, man, that's what I want to get into car hauling. You know, she said, well, you need to get your license. You know, I couldn't get my CDL license from the halfway house, but I could get my chauffeur's license. She said, well, get your chauffeur's license. So I get my chauffeur's license. And, you know, I had to stay in the halfway house for about 6 months. So in the meantime, I'm doing little odd jobs, working at little factories and stuff like that. So I gets out. Probably about, I get out the halfway house about August 2017. I'm doing little odd jobs, like I said. So maybe about a couple of weeks after I get out, one night, about 2 in the morning, my phone rang. It's my cousin. She's on the phone and she's hysterical. What's going on? She said, well, my driver quit on us. And we have a load that needs to be delivered. So I'm like, well, you know, I got my chauffeur's license, but, you know, I never drove a 53-foot trailer before. Well, don't worry, we'll train you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I get up. I didn't have a car at the time. I didn't have anything. So I just walked over to their shop. And I get there. I got my cousins. I got her father, who was my cousin. Another one of my cousins is there. He was a driver, but he don't have his chauffeur's license. So he's there to train me on how to, you know, hook the trailer up to the truck. They have like a 3-car wedge trailer, 53-foot wedge trailer, and they have a F-350 duty truck. So he showed me how to hook it up, how to load the cars up, how to secure the cars, strap them down. And so he's going to ride with me. We're going from Michigan to Indiana. He's going to ride with me to deliver the cars. So that was my training. So we went, came back safely. Everything's good. So now I have to go on another trip, but now I'm alone. I'm by myself. I have to take some cars to Kentucky. So they give me my bill of ladings, you know, give me my instructions and say, okay, you have to go pick some cars up here in Michigan from a dealership and take them to a dealership in Kentucky. So I get to the dealership. I pull the cars out that they want me to deliver. I got 2 mid-sized cars, but then I have a Cadillac Escalade. I'm talking about the long sleeve. And so I'm looking at these cars and I'm looking at this trailer and I'm saying these cars are not going to fit on the back of this trailer. And so I really don't know what to do, and I'm looking at it and I say, well, if I bag the Escalade onto the trailer, I can let it hang over to give me some space and room for the other 2 cars to fit on. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bag this up, but I never had no training in bagging no, especially an Escalade, onto a trailer. So I'm bagging this Escalade up, taking my time. So I'm gonna take my time, look, drive. And I think I'm wrong. I'm gonna get out and look, come back, get out and look. So I make it almost to the top of this trailer. And as I'm finishing my bagging, the whole front end of this Cadillac slips off the side of this trailer. I'm like, I panicked. I did. Because I could just see myself falling in this Cadillac on the ground. And I wasn't really worried about myself so much, but I was worried about destroying this. I'm talking about this was it wasn't brand new, but it wasn't even